forgotten grievance can survive 1,000 years, waiting for the day its owner returns strong enough to collect the debt. In recap, Renegade Immortal Chapter 1483-1484, Wang Lin stands before Planet Dong Ling once more, the very place where his last hope of saving Li Muwan was shattered. What began as a journey of faith long ago has been exposed as a cruel deception, and the hatred he buried for a millennium can no longer remain silent. One step shakes the stars, one roar tears through planets. As the Xiang family scrambles to awaken ancient defenses and gather tens of thousands of cultivators, the man who once left this world in humiliation has returned with power that even Allheaven's greatest experts struggle to comprehend. But behind the collapsing formations and rivers of blood lies a question that has haunted Wang Lin for 1,000 years. Why did the Xiang ancestor destroy Li Muwan's chance at revival? Tonight, the gates of reckoning open, and Planet Dong Ling is about to learn what happens when a debt owed for 1,000 years finally comes due. Before the words had even faded, fate had already placed a blade at the speaker's throat. This matter will be handled. There will be no trouble. Such calm words, such towering certainty. The one who spoke them carried the confidence of a man who believed the sky still belonged to him. But he did not know. While those words left his mouth, Wang Lin had already come. Had he sensed that figure beyond the stars, perhaps his tongue would have frozen before he could finish even that simple sentence. Far from Planet Dong Ling, hundreds of thousands of feet across the void, Wang Lin stood alone in the starry darkness. Before him hung a massive cultivation planet, several times larger than Planet Tianyun, heavy and ancient like a sleeping beast. Wang Lin's gaze fell upon it, and inside his eyes, the killing intent did not flicker. It deepened. Once he had crossed from the Alliance star system carrying only one fragile hope in his heart, the hope of bringing Li Muwan back. For that hope, he had carved his way through Allheaven, step by bloody step, until he earned the name Thunder Celestial and received the Xiang family's promise. In those days, Wang Lin had not wished to provoke the enormous Xiang family. He had not come to seize treasure, to challenge authority, or to trample their dignity. His desire had been painfully simple. He wanted Li Muwan to open her eyes again. That was why, long ago, he followed Xiang Yundong to Planet Dong Ling. His heart still carried expectation then. He believed he would meet the Xiang ancestor and perhaps finally see a road back from death. But the old ancestor's heart was rotten beneath its ancient skin. That man did not awaken Li Muwan. He did not help her. Instead, beneath the mask of aid, he drained away all of Wang Lin's vitality. Had Wang Lin not possessed the finger of death, his bones would have long since become dust. His path would have ended there, buried beneath the Xiang family's deceit. Only later, as Wang Lin's cultivation climbed higher and his understanding of life, death, and soul recovery grew deeper, did the truth become clear. The old ancestor's promises were nothing but lies. He never had the power to truly revive Li Muwan. If Wang Lin had not later found that coffin, even the final possibility of her return would have been crushed beyond repair. Worse still, the vitality that the ancestor had forced into Li Muwan had not healed her. It had injured her soul even further. That old monster had not merely stolen Wang Lin's life force. He had been using Wang Lin's hope as a blade to harm Li Muwan. The idea of using vitality to nourish Li Muwan had not been wrong. If performed with the proper method, it might have made her awakening easier. Perhaps the impossible road would not have become so cruelly distant. But the Xiang family's dark technique shattered that chance. Back then, Wang Lin's cultivation was too shallow. His eyes had not yet seen through the fog. But now, after 1,000 years of tempering, after storms, slaughter, exile, and comprehension, the veil had been torn away. He understood everything, and the hatred in his heart rose like a black sea beneath thunderclouds. The Xiang ancestor had known the truth from the very beginning. Wang Lin wanted an answer. Why had that old thing deceived him? Why had he used the name of Li Muwan's resurrection to steal away Wang Lin's vitality? Why had he chosen such a method? Behind cruelty, there had to be motive. Behind the scheme, there had to be a cause. The Wang Lin of that year had fled in humiliation. He had no strength to question anyone. He had no right to resist. He could only swallow the disgrace and bury the hatred in his heart. just as he had once buried his hatred for the Tang family for hundreds of long years. But today was different. Today, Wang Lin looked upon Planet Dong Ling for the second time. And this time, he had the strength to demand the truth. The killing intent in his eyes sharpened again. Then he lifted his foot and stepped forward. The void exploded with a roar. With a single step, Wang Lin crossed the hundreds of thousands of feet between him and his enemy. The starry expanse shook like a war drum beaten by heaven itself. When the thunder settled, Wang Lin was no longer far away. He stood only 10,000 feet from Planet Dong Ling. The surrounding star domain trembled. Ripples surged outward from his body, expanding in every direction like waves spreading across a cosmic ocean. Space bent under that step, as though his foot had not landed upon emptiness, but upon the hidden heartbeat of the universe. The sound crashed into Planet Dong Ling. On the small planets surrounding Dong Ling, the faces of thousands of stationed cultivators changed at once. A crushing force descended from above, vast and invisible, smashing toward Planet Dong Ling like a falling heavenly mountain. Formation light erupted. Barriers trembled violently, blazing with radiance so bright that they seemed to become miniature suns. At that instant, every cultivator upon those smaller planets felt as if their hearts had been struck by an unseen hammer. A strange force pierced into their bodies. Their origin energy began to circulate wildly without command. They instinctively understood that if their energy did not move, the vibration from the starry void might tear their hearts apart. Outside Planet Dong Ling, Wang Lin stood with eyes as cold and bright as lightning. Then, without raising his voice, he spoke one sentence. "You know exactly who has come. Crawl out here now." The moment those words left his lips, the star field erupted. "Crawl out here now! Crawl out here now! Crawl out here now!" That sentence was not merely a challenge. It was 1,000 years of buried anger breaking through its coffin. It was Wang Lin's hatred toward the Xiang family finally taking form. Inside those words was the bitterness of a man who had once arrived carrying hope, only to be betrayed when his heart was most defenseless. To face him openly in battle, Wang Lin could accept. To hunt him down like the Yao family had done, he could also understand. But the Xiang family had waited until his hope reached its highest point, then struck him from the shadows. They had severed Li Muwan's chance of recovery. They had not only plotted against him, they had plotted against a gentle woman who was already dead, already helpless, already unable to resist. That Wang Lin could never forgive. He would never accept it. His voice rolled madly through the stars like thunder given a soul. It drowned out even the roar caused by his earlier step. In an instant, the space around Planet Dong Ling transformed into a prison of thunder. Lightning and sound mingled together until the entire star domain resembled a hell forged from storm. That single sentence carried a sound wave fierce enough to make heaven and earth tremble. It was like the roar of an ancient god awakening from endless sleep. Compared to that cry, what was the storm created by Wang Lin's step? At this moment, countless storms burst into existence across the void. Every violent gale seemed to carry Wang Lin's indignation. Every thunderclap carried his rage. Every shaking ripple carried the hatred he had refined inside himself for more than 1,000 years. On the dozens of small planets orbiting Dong Ling, formation light flashed in panic. But even those defenses could not save them all. 9 of the smaller planets shattered. The collapse thundered through space, and the sound spread through every star domain in eastern Allheaven. On those 9 planets, every cultivator stationed there perished beneath the force. Even the 27 old men responsible for controlling those 9 planets had no chance to resist. Terror and disbelief had only just risen in their eyes before death swallowed them. They did not even possess the strength to flee from Wang Lin's roar. As for the thousands of cultivators on the remaining smaller planets, all of them coughed blood. Their formations were still standing, yet some portion of Wang Lin's voice had pierced through anyway. Their hearts shook violently, and fear began to grow among them like frost spreading across still water. The roar continued to roll across Planet Dong Ling itself. The planet answered with groans of stone and earth. Countless cracks split open across its surface. Mountains broke apart, and rivers surged wildly, as though terrified by the voice descending from the stars. In the northern region of the planet, a vast sea began to churn. Waves rose higher and higher, then spun into a tremendous vortex. Wang Lin's voice became a blast of invisible force that plunged into the ocean depths, driving up a tsunami 10,000 feet tall. That wave rushed toward the land. It looked as though the sea itself wished to climb ashore and devour the world. Far in the extreme east of Planet Dong Ling, the two black-robed old men who had just begun to relax were struck by the roar before they could even breathe in peace. Their bodies shook as if rammed by a great invisible tide. Both were forced backward 2,000 feet, coughing blood as they retreated. One of them could not withstand it. His body burst apart under the impact, and his blood scattered across the dark red earth. The roar did not stop at the surface. It plunged deep underground, into the enormous hollow region beneath the earth. The ground trembled violently. A gigantic fissure tore open, as if two colossal hands had gripped the land and ripped it apart from within. Inside that underground space, most of the gathered heads exploded under the force. Even the death aura that had accumulated there for tens of thousands of years was forced backward in retreat, as if it feared that if it moved too slowly, it too would be erased. The earth-yellow coffin trembled. Then its lid was hurled away and smashed into fragments against the wall. From the open coffin came a struggling roar, hoarse and ancient. A withered right hand slowly reached out from within and gripped the coffin's edge. Above ground, the surviving black-robed old man who had coughed blood was overtaken by fear beyond description. Without the slightest hesitation, his right hand formed seals at high speed. A black jade appeared at once, flickering with urgent light. Activate the formations. No matter the cost, keep this person from setting foot on Planet Dong Ling. As his command spread, powerful auras erupted from Planet Dong Ling's south, east, and north. Cultivators began to gather in vast numbers. At least 10,000 surged into motion, answering the call like armies beneath a war banner. In the northern region stood the territory of the Liu family. There, tens of thousands of cultivators sat cross-legged upon the ground, joining together to form an enormous formation. Above them, dozens of old men hovered in the air. Their hands moved through seal after seal, and some of them even spat out blood to strengthen the spell. The blood gathered quickly, condensing into a huge crimson shadow. In the southern region lay the Shu family's domain. Tens of thousands of cultivators surrounded a massive pool of blood at the center of their formation. From that blood pool rose killing intent so thick it seemed alive. One after another, the cultivators began walking into the pool, offering themselves to its murderous power. In the eastern region, the Liu family also took position. Their cultivators arranged themselves in groups of 7, spreading across thousands of kilometers. Each 7-person group guarded a treasure that released a yellow glow. Seen from high above, the entire Liu family formation did not resemble an army. It resembled a gigantic sunflower blooming across the land. At the same time, the formation lights surrounding the remaining smaller planets around Dong Ling flared again. Those planets began to move, spinning faster and faster around Planet Dong Ling. Soon, with Dong Ling as the heart, they formed a vast rotating vortex in the starry sky. Wang Lin watched all of it with icy calm. The gathering armies, the awakening formations, the trembling planet, the hidden ancestor who still refused to appear. Then light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He stepped forward again. If you refuse to show yourself, then I will tear you out with my own hands. Whoever dares stand in my path will be buried together with you. The moment Wang Lin moved, the heavens over Dong Ling no longer belonged to the stars. One single step from him became a signal of calamity. Across Planet Dong Ling, deep within the Liu family's hidden command, voices rang out one after another like war drums shaking an ancient battlefield. Let the formation rise and become the firmament. Bind the devil celestial beneath restriction. Seal and suppress the 8 directions. As those commands thundered through the Liu family's domain, the thousands upon thousands of cultivators stationed across the smaller surrounding planets all moved at once. Their hands blurred into seals. Their spiritual energy surged like rivers returning to the sea, and in the void above Dong Ling, a radiant barrier awakened. At first, it was only one layer of light. Then the heavens seemed to fold upon themselves. 1,000 layers, 10,000 layers, 100,000 layers, 1,000,000 layers, 10,000,000 layers. Layer after layer, the curtain of radiance thickened until it reached a terrifying number. 99 million layers of protection wrapped around Planet Dong Ling like the shell of an ancient divine beast. That brilliance did not remain in one place. It tore through the emptiness of space and spread outward in every direction. The eastern region of Allheaven was drowned in that blazing glow. Even the three other domains, far across the starry expanse, could see a monstrous light rising from the east like a second dawn born from cultivation power. All of Allheaven was shaken. The cultivator armies dragging planets through the void saw it. The cultivation planets scattered across the realm saw it. The great moving forces preparing for war saw that eastern radiance and felt their hearts tremble. Far from Dong Ling, in the region where Allheaven's main preparations were being gathered, more than 600 planets had already assembled to form a vast formation of their own. Deep inside that swirling vortex, Master Lu Fu lifted his gaze toward the distant east. Beside him stood Master Flamespark, Blood God, and Li Yunzi. Their faces had lost color. Even from such a distance, they could feel the endless waves of light pouring out from Planet Dong. One of them spoke in a heavy voice, as though recalling an old secret buried beneath generations of fear. Planet Dong Ling has existed since the ancient eras. There have always been rumors that the Lu family nurtured a formation spirit for tens of thousands of years. Once awakened, and once spirits enter the formation, its might becomes astonishing. Whether Wang Lin can force it open, that is hard to say. Another voice followed, lower and more uncertain. I cannot understand how his cultivation has risen to such a frightening degree, but even so, to tear open the formation protecting Planet Dong Ling should require time. Master Lu Fu stared into the faraway light. A question formed silently in his mind. If he were the one facing that formation, how long would it take him to break it? The answer arrived almost immediately. 20 breaths would be enough for me, he murmured. His eyes remained fixed on the east. Now I want to see how long this Wang Lin will need. Those 99 million layers of light had formed a formation so strong that even Master Lu Fu would require 20 breaths to open it. Among second-step cultivators, this defensive power had already reached the extreme. Even someone suffering the fifth heaven's blight would find it nearly impossible to destroy such a formation alone. But before that monstrous curtain of light, Wang Lin's gaze remained steady, cold, quiet, unshaken. He watched as the light grew denser and more terrifying, and instead of retreating, a faint sneer touched his face. At least this has become slightly interesting, he said. But this much is still far from enough. Then Wang Lin lifted his right hand and pointed toward the heavens. Between his eyebrows, the 7 ancient god stars began to revolve. At that instant, a tremendous power erupted from within him. It was ancient god energy, yet it was more than that. More precisely, it was the power of the ancient order. When that aura burst forth, the void itself began to twist. Space bent around him. Countless cracks opened in the starry sky, as though the fabric of the universe could not bear the pressure coming from Wang Lin's body. The ancient order was a lineage above the ancient gods, for the ancient gods themselves had branched away from the ancient order. As that aura rolled outward like a tide from before time, a colossal phantom slowly appeared behind Wang Lin. It was not a full body, it was only a head. A vast, indistinct head, a head missing its left eye. Yet even incomplete, it seemed large enough to cover the sky itself. From that phantom came a pressure so immense that it spread across the entire eastern domain of Allheaven, pressing upon the hearts of countless cultivators like an invisible mountain. The instant this aura appeared, every cultivator who sensed it was struck with horror. It was not merely strength they felt, it was something beyond their understanding, something older than the legends they knew, something that did not fit inside the boundaries of their cultivation knowledge. When Master Lu Fu saw that giant head in the distance, his pupils contracted violently. Disbelief surged across his face. This, his voice almost broke. What is that thing? An ancient god? An ancient demon? An ancient devil? Very few in the world knew the name of the ancient order. For Master Lu Fu, this was the first time he had ever witnessed such an existence. Wang Lin's expression did not change. His right hand, still raised, slowly curled into a fist. Then, as his arm lowered, he sent that fist forward toward the 99 million layers of light. The motion was almost gentle, but the words that left his mouth carried the weight of a divine calamity. God trembled. The starry sky shook. With Wang Lin's punch, an enormous illusory fist emerged and surged forward. That fist spanned hundreds of thousands of feet, like the hand of an ancient titan descending to crush a world. In the blink of an eye, the giant fist struck the 99 million layers of light surrounding Dong Ling. The barrier roared. The radiance erupted. Thunderous booms rolled outward, shaking the entire star domain as though the heavens themselves had been struck. And then, there was no resistance. The layers of light began to shatter. 30 million layers were destroyed. Then 60 million. Then 80 million. Then 90 million. It was not like a formation resisting an attack. It was like a fist plunging into the surface of a lake, breaking the reflection of the sky and driving straight through the water. The protective formation collapsed at terrifying speed, layer after layer disintegrating beneath that one punch. The luminous curtains continued to fall apart, unable to slow the fist in the slightest. In only one breath, the illusory fist pierced through all 99 million layers. The formation was ripped open. Beyond it, the vortex made by dozens of rotating cultivation planets was revealed. Broken fragments of the shattered formation slammed into that vortex, causing more heaven-shaking explosions. Great cracks spread across the surfaces of those planets, making them look as though they might break apart at any moment. Yet this was still not the end. Wang Lin's God Tremble was not an ordinary strike. It was a supreme blow born from the new 7-star ancient god power he had gained through the inheritance of the ancient order. Before that fist, the light curtain formation had been no stronger than thin paper. One punch tore it apart. It had not even consumed a tenth of the strike's power. The raw physical might of a 7-star ancient god could already contend with third-step cultivators. In front of such force, how could a mere Planet Dong Ling hope to endure? The rumbling continued to spread. The illusory fist crashed into the vortex that surrounded Planet Dong Ling. Then it detonated with overwhelming force. The dozens of cultivation planets forming the vortex trembled violently. Across more than 10 of them, enormous chasms split open along their surfaces, and signs of collapse appeared everywhere. A moment later, those planets were torn apart. Many cultivators stationed upon those worlds perished as the planets broke. The powerful elders who had been maintaining the formation had no chance to flee. Together with the planets beneath them, they were erased from the battlefield. Wang Lin's punch pressed deeper into the vortex. Its path did not change. It continued toward Planet Dong Ling. As that fist advanced, the remaining dozen or so planets rushed toward it, smashing forward, as though trying to stop an ancient mountain from falling. But one after another, each planet shattered before the punch. And now, Wang Lin's fist was about to descend upon Planet Dong Ling itself. At that critical instant, a mournful cry rose from the Lu family lands in the northern region of the planet. Nearly 10,000 cultivators gathered there, coughed out blood at the same time, directing it toward the dozen or so old men standing in the center. The bodies of those elders immediately began to swell. In a short moment, they had expanded into swollen masses filled with blood energy. Their robes tore apart under the pressure, and beneath their skin, dense veins bulged as the force of the sacrifice rushed through them. A desperate command echoed out. "Blood sacrifice! Formation spirit, take form!" As the words rang through the air, the dozen elders burst into clouds of blood-colored mist. That mist gathered at the center, thick and surging. From within it came a roar. Then a crimson shadow shot upward into the sky. The shadow was blurred, its true shape impossible to make out. Yet from its body came an overwhelming aura of restrictions, as though it had been born from tens of thousands of years of sealed power. At that moment, the northern sky of Planet Dong Ling had become dark. All light had been swallowed by the giant fist. Wang Lin's punch had arrived above Planet Dong Ling. The blood shadow rushed upward to meet it. With a roar that shook heaven and earth, it collided directly with Wang Lin's ancient order punch. A violent explosion echoed across Planet Dong Ling. The sound wave surged outward in all directions. It swept past Wang Lin. then continued spreading across the eastern domain of Allheaven, like thunder rolling through the bones of the universe. But before that rumble had even faded, the blood shadow could no longer hold together. It broke apart into a rain of blood that scattered from the sky. And before that blood rain could even touch the earth, Wang Lin's ancient order fist tore through it and descended upon the northern region of Planet Dong Ling. The entire planet shook. The northern earth collapsed layer by layer. The nearly 10,000 Lu family cultivators were wiped out. In their place, a colossal sinkhole, hundreds of thousands of feet wide, opened upon the land. That pit drove deep into the planet, reaching down to 60% of Dong Ling's circumference. Its interior was pitch black, and a heavy scent of blood rose from within. Planet Dong Ling continued trembling. Although it did not explode, the blow stirred the oceans with terrifying power. Tsunamis surged upward. Seawater was thrown into the sky. Half of it poured into the giant sinkhole. The other half scattered across Planet Dong Ling like a world-covering rainstorm. Before long, the bottom of the pit created by Wang Lin's punch became an ocean, and that ocean slowly continued to fill. From high above, the mark of the fist was unmistakable. It looked exactly like the imprint left when a mortal man drove his knuckles into wet mud. 8 breaths. From the moment Wang Lin released that punch until the curtain of 99 million layers collapsed, until the smaller planet shattered, until the Lu family forces were destroyed, and until that enormous sinkhole appeared upon Dong Ling. Only 8 breaths had passed. Inside the distant vortex, Master Lu Fu suddenly rose to his feet. Shock filled his eyes. At last, he understood. His judgment of Wang Lin had been terribly wrong. He has not even stepped into the 3rd step, Master Lu Fu thought, his heart shaken, and yet the power contained in that punch is already this frightening. 8 breaths. Only 8 breaths. Master Lu Fu drew in a cold breath. The thought he had formed earlier when he saw the rain sword vanish completely. In his mind, Wang Lin's standing rose sharply. From this moment on, Wang Lin was no longer someone he could look down upon. He had already reached the level of a peer.